different places where I began to really, Adelaja of God was doing great, and that at that point, that was a unique church to most people in the world. We began to raise up millionaires, and we began to do things that most churches had not seen, and most churches definitely were not doing. So it was you could have relaxed on your laurels after that, I think I was getting used to that, and I was getting ready. I had begun to think that was the height of ministry when by God's grace and mercy, He allowed some horrible persecution against us here. Persecution based on false allegations, false accusations, and all kinds of lies, and which also grounded me in the country, which didn't allow me to move out much, and so I was, I have to, up to now, that was 2.5 years ago almost, so I have to stay in the country, and while in the country, I began to seek the face of the Lord. Why would God allow that kind of attack, especially when it's not just, especially when things are not true? How can, I had survived all kinds of attacks before then, you must know. I was used to fighting. I was used to battle. I was battle-tried. But but this time, it was a different kind of trial. It was a different kind of battle. I like persecution myself. I like being persecuted. But I like being persecuted for the things of God. I like being persecuted for telling me, accusing me that I was turning the country upside down, and that I was changing the mindset of the people. I was changing the structure of the nation for Jesus. That was the kind of persecution I was used to. But I was not used to the persecution that will take something from nowhere and make it seem as if you are to blame. That is false accusation. And accusing you and making it so public, so worldwide, put so much using the power of the press to make people, sometimes even you almost believing that is it really happening? Maybe it's true what they are saying, even though you knew it's not true. But when everybody began to talk about it so much that you begin to wonder, maybe it's true, what's really happening? I mean, it's so I've fought all kind of fights, but I've now come to discover that false accusation, it's just like saying you didn't sleep with somebody's ex-wife, but the lady came out and said you did it. The husband came out and said you did it. Now I began to understand what Joseph went through. And then they put you in, then you are being punished for what you, it is at the point of when you are being punished for what you never did, that you begin to realize that this is horrible. I mean, I would have taken it very lightly. I wouldn't have even spoken about it if they had said, we are punishing you, not for whatever accusation they are bringing out, but for the gospel. Oh, I would have loved it. Because that is prestigious. That makes it looks like that I'm really suffering for God. But here it's so well disguised that they are really bringing out facts, false facts, lies, and saying this is what happened. And so they are saying this is not gospel. So they are really differentiating and separating it from the gospel and religion. This is not religion. We are not touching his faith. This is not. This is what he did. And when everybody began to believe that, and then you begin to suffer for that, whereas nobody seems to know if it is really true or not. But you are the only one who knows it's not true, and everybody else thinks it's true. And then you have been punished for it already. But where the crisis begins is not even there. The crisis begins when you begin to think, wait a minute, where is God? But you know the truth. Let's assume that all these people don't know the truth. Let's assume that they are really deceived. But you know the truth. And you know that I'm trying to serve you. And I'm doing my best at doing that. But where were you? You could make this clear, and then it's not making it clear. So that is when I now discover that whenever you pray, and you bind the Satan, and you bind the devil, and you curse Satan, and then the problem is not being resolved, then you must know that it's time for you to begin to call on God to talk to you, to begin to listen to God. So that was what I did the first year. I just needed to hear what was going on and what God wanted to bring out of it. I have a favorite prayer that I always pray whenever I have challenges, and that prayer is, God, never answer this, never really remove this problem until I'm changed, or until you have accomplished the purpose for which you in the first place allowed it to come. So, but that sounds like a dangerous prayer.
One of the things that you taught us in the training, you said people don't learn without pain. You know, people don't learn without pain. Pain is the most effective teacher. So now, going through the situation that you came through, the pain that you experienced, how did you use that to begin to do things differently, even in the church, and how you set up the church to basically learn from that pain and move forward to become even greater?
Thank you so much, because that question would directly lead me to the answer to the question on how we got to the third stage.
Yeah, but before we actually get into that, I think it would be important. I don't think people have even understood the outcome of some of the persecutions that you've gone through. And it's not something that we are rejoicing. We're not trying to rejoice over anybody here, but some things have happened. And it just reminds me of the story of Daniel, when Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, and it completely reversed. I see this same exact thing happening in your life, Pastor Sunday. I don't know if you would like to share with our viewers, because some of them may not even know where's all this now. What's the issue with the case, and where is it at, and what's going on right now. But the power of God has been strongly manifested on your behalf.
Yeah, well, you people have seen some of the things. Maybe you also want to share with people whatever you have seen that this persecution has brought as a blessing. Then I could add to that.
Well, I think Pastor may be a little modest here, but a lot has really taken place. It will take months to talk about the weight of this persecution that has happened, but God truly used it in Pastor's life, and he's going to be sharing about that. But those people who intentionally wanted to just hurt Pastor Sunday, hurt the God Embassy Church, maybe for those of you who do not know right now, most of them are all in prison.
Even the people who signed the paper.
Yes, even the people who signed the paper. And from what I understand, there were so many people on this case, and you would
government
officials, top government officials,
ministers,
members of parliament. I mean, it goes all the way to the top. Prime ministers.
And they are all now under charges.
Wow.
All of them.
Wow. Some of them in prison?
Yeah, some of them are in prison. Even the ministers.
Wow. And I remember something you said, I think this was on Charisma or something.
They said I was going to be in prison. The people who said I was going to be in prison, they are
now in prison.
The people who supported them, they are under house arrest.
Wow. Wow.
Or under, probation.
Yes. And for since 2008, that's about 2 years plus, going on 3 years right now. Nothing has been.
They couldn't substantiate their accusations.
How many volumes of documents did they have?
800 volumes of 200 pages each.
Say that again, sir.
800 volumes of 200 pages.
How many people were put on this investigation? Do you remember?
126 detectives, investigators, and full-time, right? Just to find things against
Wow. And it doesn't this point to when they wanted to find something against Daniel? You all remember that story? And they said, I'm sorry, you cannot find anything wrong with this man. And I remember in the beginning of this, pastors spoke to Charisma directly or indirectly and said, you guys wait and see that. I know you guys don't believe there are righteous people in this world, men with integrity. And after all these years, it's an honor to God, an honor to you and your family and that's one of the reasons why we're so attracted to this ministry. The integrity you command, it's so amazing.
Yeah, I actually told them that it doesn't matter. Even if the government comes up with some cooked cases, allegations, and even convict me, that its truth will still come out. And at the end of the day, I will still be justified because it's not true. Even if it takes 100 years, the truth will still come out. You still discover that this guy never did it. And that's what I was trying to tell the Charisma people, because they had said each time a scandal or an accusation surfaces like this, in America especially, that the pastors always deny the churches. But at the end of the day, they always be guilty of them. And that's why they just went and published the first version of the story. But I told them, okay, let's wait and see. And now you will see and discover that there are still some genuine men of God right there,
Wow.
out there, that whatever they say is what is true, not what the press says or what the government says.